Produced by Victoire. Victoire gives a special thanks to the EWF, Empire Wrestling Federation, and Mr. Jesse Hernandez, as well as SoCal Wrestling TV. Find the app on Roku. Hello, fans, and welcome to Stylin', the podcast. I am one of your co-stars, the Master Emir, along with my co-star, my tag team partner, as it were, WWE AEW superstar Rico Casatino.
Welcome, one and all. Welcome back to Stylin' the podcast, where you can learn everything under the sun here. We're just not a wrestling podcast. We touch on all subjects, men's health, current events, just everything. You can learn a lot here. So you know what? Go grab a beverage. Come and sit. I got my beverage here.
I got mine right here.
Green tea. That's
Cheers.
it. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Sit and listen and see what you can learn today. Let's see what nuggets we can give you.
Mm-hmm. But before we give them those nuggets, Rico, what would look good to you and I?
Oh, if you would lay the smack down on that subscribe button, hit the like and share it. That's what we need. Tell me why we need that so much, Amir.
And I will tell you exactly why we need that, Rico, and viewers. So if those of you who may not be aware, there's an algorithm in YouTube. And right now, because our channel is still young, we're still a growing show here, the algorithm does not populate us at the top of search lists. So it's vitally important. If you're watching this video now, and if you haven't already, lay the smack down on that subscribe button. It is completely free. It will not cost you a dime. Also, make sure that you hit the likes on these videos because the likes helps the algorithm. It helps the algorithm recognize this show and push us further to the masses. We want to entertain you for a very long time, and we want to be worldwide. So we need your help. Also, you'll see the share icon at the bottom near this video. Make sure you grab a copy of this video, share it across your social media platforms. That will also help the algorithm. So we thank you for that. We also thank our subscribers that have come in masses. We've got a huge new audience. We're growing on a weekly basis, and we thank you for that. Rico, before we go into our subjects today, I just want to give a couple of announcements to the audience. Of course, coming across your screen right now, public speaking engagements. And I want to introduce the newest member of the Victoire podcast team, my business associate inside the squared circle, McCallion. But as you see, the rest of the team there, Rico Constantino, Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, and myself, the Master Amir, we are available for public speaking engagements. If you are interested, use the email address in the description of this video. Likewise, if you're interested in the Stylin' the Podcast t-shirts, the OG, the original, you can order that by using the same email address in the link of this description. And of course, Rico, last but not least, the super stickers are now available. So if you're watching this video, if you like what you see, and if you feel so inclined, you can leave a super sticker there. You can buy Rico and I a cup of coffee, figuratively speaking. You can give us a New Year's gift, figuratively speaking, or buy us a tub of protein powder. Again, figuratively speaking, you know what I mean. But we want to thank everybody, as always. And now we're going to dive right into our show. Rico, this is going to be a phenomenal weekend of professional wrestling because we have WWE Saturday Night's Main Event, the revamp episode 2. And it coincidentally, Rico, it will be going head to head with AEW's pay-per-view All In this Saturday night. Both, I believe, both out of Texas this week. But one of the subjects that's going to be hot, it's going to be a hot topic, is we know that Hulk Hogan will be, at least at the time of this recording, it has been confirmed, he will be at Saturday Night's Main Event. Now, we know a few weeks ago he had a tumultuous debut, as it were, on Netflix.
Yeah.
You've been doing some research on this particular matter, so I'm gonna throw it over to you to lead us in on this particular one.
Yeah, well, we discussed that on a couple episodes ago on how people are confusing professional and personal life, and Hulk was such an icon in his day, and that fans seem to taking what he does personally and reflecting that on his professional character, and I don't think that's right. Um, they're not really promoting him to be on, but he is in West Texas now and he's promoting his beer. And I saw news reports and stuff where there's lines all the way around the building for a meet and greet to
Yeah.
meet the Hulkster,
Yeah.
and he's taking pictures, signing autographs and stuff like that. And it's a huge turnout, but it's for his new beer
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And so in Texas, it looks like he has uh, more followers than he had in LA.
Hmm.
And while I was, comments were that I saw, viewed were, uh, why is WWE bringing back old dinosaurs from the past
Wow.
and stuff like that? And they even went as far to say, why not develop new talent,
Mm.
to take the torch? Just
Mm.
like Andre passed the torch to Hulk, Hulk passed it to Ultimate Warrior,
Yeah.
and how John Cena got the torch to
Hmm.
carry the company and stuff
Hmm.
like that. How Cody Rhodes rode the company on his back for a year.
Yeah.
So the fans are throwing comments out like that in social media that I saw.
Mm.
And well, okay, maybe WWE needs to start developing more talents. But
Hmm.
right now they're recalling other people to help give that push,
Yeah.
i.e., John Cena's victory tour.
Hmm.
They
Well,
brought John back.
Well, I think an interesting point to bring up there, Rico, would be the fact that, again, maybe some fans are unaware. There are sponsors involved in the WWE now. You're talking $1 billion company. You're talking TKO, Ari Emanuel, the William Morris team. They have sponsors to answer to. So sometimes a lot of these guys that you see, what some people are very rudely describing as dinosaurs, because one day that's going to be all of us, just to remind you all that it could be a sponsor that wants to see them. Now, if you've got a sponsor like Coca-Cola who says, I want Hulk Hogan on the show, and they're donating 20, 30, $50 million to your company a year, are you going to tell them no? Of course not.
No.
So sometimes it's not necessarily what the fans want, it's what the sponsors want,
Well,
because
yeah,
that's
because
the one.
they're putting their money where the mouth is.
Yep, absolutely. So they put their money where their mouth is. But to your point about, creating new stars, I think the potential is there. I think it's up to the individual, Rico. You and I have
Yeah.
discussed this many times. Of course, that's one of the reasons why Delirium exists. The landscape of professional wrestling has undeniably across the board taken a nosedive in the past 20 years. And I just think, even though there are some tremendous talents, Rico, and I think we'll both agree, Drew McIntyre,
Oh yeah.
one of
Yeah.
my
Oh.
one of my favorites right now, CM Punk, even
Yep.
Seth Rollins has stepped up to the plate. Who
Yep.
else you got? You've got Damian Priest in WWE, another one who stepped up to the plate. Cody Rhodes, we cannot not
Yes.
mention him.
Oh
So,
no.
so there are
Yeah.
those who have, but the difference between now and the 1990s and early 2000s is I just listed a few. Back then, you could list 50 guys who had the same charisma and
Yeah.
powerful, and yeah, and again, that's why there were less of the guys who had come from before having to fill those spots to draw in new audience members.
Well, each person was uh, above board and over the top.
Hmm.
Honky Tonk Man, Macho Man, Rick Rude, yeah, Bobby Heenan, Andre the Giant. I mean, all these people, Tugboat,
Yep.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Two
Yep.
by Four. Each one of them held their own.
Yep.
I just mentioned just a few. I mean,
Yeah.
there was many,
Yep.
but they carried their own weight.
Yep.
And you have much charisma in a show, people can't help but get involved. And they explained their character. They were committed to their characters.
Yep.
They believed it, so you believed it. And
Hmm.
that's what we've been talking about all the time is that we need the people who are being these characters to really believe their characters, and really if you believe it, they will believe it because it comes out of you. You
Yep.
know, I mean, and I've said it before, I'm nowhere near the stylist or the Adrian Street. I mean, my whole life is the exact opposite of it, but
Mhm.
I took it, embraced those two characters, thought of stuff, went to creative, and
Mhm.
when they wouldn't, agree with it, I just did it anyway.
Yeah.
I said, this is my vision for Rico the stylist. This is what he's going to do. And that was in my head all the time. And create new things, do new things,
Mhm.
shock. Because I was a heel.
Yeah.
So I wanted to shock him,
Yeah.
and with the Adrian Street thing, the best I just don't know what you're going to do every week, Rico.
Yep.
Good. If
Yep.
I keep that newness, it's going to make you want to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I
You
mean,
know?
obviously, that's the difference between you and I. I am the master. I don't break character, ladies and gentlemen. But that aside for now, coming back into what you were saying, Rico, yeah, it's the believability of the character that makes it worthwhile watching. And everything, and, go back to the 2000s and 90s. WWF at the time was a household name. Hulk Hogan
Yep.
was a household name. I don't think we can really say that for any of the new guys. And I don't mean, and I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm just saying it will happen. It will happen. We're on the
Yeah.
precipice of that resurgence of pro wrestling.
Right.
I mean, obviously, The Rock is a household name, but he comes from the
Yeah.
90s. He comes
Yeah.
from the 90s.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns has some traction
Hmm.
right now. So I think Roman Reigns, but he comes from a lineage
Hmm.
of professional wrestlers, so he
Yeah.
is just taking on a dynasty and moving it forward,
Yeah.
which he's been brought up in wrestling his whole life,
Hmm.
and with The Rock giving him the rub and stuff like that. Yeah, I think they're trying to get that done. It's
Hmm.
just not happening with a lot of them.
Right.
Like I said, it's either one or two people that are carrying everything,
Hmm.
and they need the whole team to start developing so that, even on the lower card, mid card, they're carrying themselves. Don't leave it to the top stars to carry the company.
Yeah.
Everybody has to take an investment and carry it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was never a top guy. I was a mid card guy, but I took that seriously and I said, okay, this is where I'm going to be.
Mhm.
This is the job I'm going to do, and I'm going to be the best mid card guy they got. And I was a heel, and I'm going to put the face over. I'm
But
going to make them look like $1 million.
But you know what the interesting thing is, Rico? And of course, I'm saying this not just because you are a dear friend, business partner, and mentor to me, brother in Christ. Even though they had slated you in that position in the early 2000s, subsequently, since then, looking back now, you are a main event guy because of the way you carried yourself. In contrast, now, today, you have become that legend. So even if they had positioned you there now, I would safe to say is no, you were a main attraction guy. All you have to do is research Rico Constantino or Constantino because it's been misspelled in the again YouTube algorithm. So Rico, again, let everybody know the exact spelling of your name, please.
It's Costantino, but
Yeah.
they put the N in there. Constantino. So you
Okay.
can look it up both ways. You're still going to get my ugly mug on YouTube. But I want to go back to Hogan too.
Yep. Yep.
You know, um, I think WWE has a decision to make here
Hmm.
because he was booed in LA.
Hmm.
All right. Now Hulk, he can do face, he can do heel.
Yeah.
If they think, because CM Punk mentioned his name in last week on the 20th, and we got a little bit of booze, not as much as Los Angeles, but they can test it out in the beginning of the show and say Hulk or say something about Hulk, and if it starts getting a negative reaction, I think they're missing an opportunity. And Hulk should have his Hulkamania gear and his NWO gear. So if they give him the booze, he just paints on that beard thing, puts on his NWO stuff, and goes out there and does what he does best.
Yep.
Because if he goes out there and knows he's going to get booed, I mean, he will do a stellar promo. He will floor him. He
Well,
will.
Well, I think it's not going to be too difficult for Hulk Hogan to go into heel mode, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you a hint first. Boas. Okay, boas, the big things that they wear around their neck. Now, of course, we know the Saturday night's main event has been synonymous with Jesse the Body Ventura, and
Oh yeah.
we know that he signed a big deal with WWE. He's going to be making appearances at all four Saturday night's main events throughout 2025. So, of course, he is going to be there in Texas in the same building as Hulk
Uh-oh.
Hogan. Yes,
Hmm.
probably wearing
Those two
his.
don't have a good history.
No, they certainly do not have a good history. And this will be, I believe, the first time that they're going to be back in an actual wrestling event arena together, probably since 1990, I want to say. Because the last time Jesse left WWE right before SummerSlam of 1990, and Hogan was there. Jesse was still calling the matches. Of course, this was after the attempt to unionize the wrestlers, of course.
Right.
Rico, do you want to educate our audience about that?
Well, Jesse, because of back then the treatment and stuff like that, and wanted to get the wrestlers together because everybody was an independent contractor and treated differently, medical, retirement. Because what happens to wrestlers now when they get out of the business? Some can handle it and hit the ground running, which
Hmm.
I did, and
Yep.
some go in depression, and some of them end up taking their lives or
Mhm.
living so horribly they lose their lives,
Yeah.
and Jesse was trying to get that all turned around to where we had a union, probably had a collective bargaining agreement
Hmm.
with WWF at the time. And from what I heard on a documentary, that everybody was behind it, but then when it came down to put it into action, everybody got scared and left him hanging.
Yep. And Hulk Hogan was the one who went to Vince McMahon,
Vince, yeah.
yeah, and told Vince that Jesse was doing this.
Hmm.
So ever since then, there's been a lot of ill boding. But Rico, I wanted to ask you, we haven't seen anything promoting Jesse Ventura in this event yet. Do you think that Jesse will show up?
I think he would as a commentator,
Hmm.
because I know we're going to get to this later, but uh, he was good at that.
Oh
He
yeah,
was animated as heck. Well, but we'll
yeah,
get in that later. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he'll show up.
You think he'll show up? Do you think there's
Yeah.
going to be any shots fired between the two men on camera?
Uh, no, I think they'll be professional. I mean,
Okay.
enough time has gone by. Time heals all wounds, and that type of thing. I don't think they're going to directly go after everybody because right now it's about the show.
Yeah.
It's not about them too. If they want to get together afterwards and have their little powwow, fine. But I don't think. I think Hulk and Jesse are that professional to put out the product as
Mhm.
best they can.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
I think they will. I think they'll put let bygones be bygones. Obviously, there's going to be some underlying tension. Sometimes these things never go away entirely. They'll always remember it, forgive, but sometimes they don't forget. But it'd be interesting though. Actually, would it be a great segment if they did play on that? I think that would be a huge ratings boost because I know that the WWE still has a huge demographic of fans that would have been kids from back then. We often like to think that the audiences change and everyone's young, but that's not the case. You look around some of those arenas, and you do see a lot of guys that look like they're in their 40s and 50s and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see if they do play on that. And of course, like you said, if Hulk Hogan does come out as the NWO Hulk Hogan, or again, alternatively, if he is cheered Rico, then that's going to say something about the fans from Los Angeles. That's going to
Well,
say
yeah,
a lot. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, it's going to be definitely, as Gorilla Monsoon would say, it's going to be a happening
yeah,
on Saturday night. It's gonna. One thing I wanted to bring up, viewers, because we're going to discuss this next week. I haven't allowed Rico into this thought process yet, but I do want to talk about show theme musics and pay-per-view theme musics. So that's something we're going to talk about. So remember I said that for next week's show because I did want to bring up Saturday night's main event. They're using the original theme, and guess what? No brainer, it works. Okay. It wasn't broken and there's no need to fix it and it works. What do you
Nope.
think? What do you think when you hear that old music, Rico, when you're watching? What does it do to you? Do you feel good inside?
Yeah, it brings back memories because I used to watch Saturday night main events.
Yeah.
And it just brings you back in time, and then that helps with you getting caught up in the program because
Yeah.
what it was back then, it's pretexting you to go back to that time, and you're focused on the TV. That's what
Yeah.
it does for me,
Yeah.
you know.
It sets a tone. And I like also
Yeah,
the way they do like they did with Saturday night's main event. They would interview all the talent, all the wrestlers that were going to go into the matches as the opening, pardon me, excuse me, as the opening credits are rolling, as the music's rolling. And that was a good way to introduce you to Sarah. Like you said, now you know what's coming, right? And you can anticipate and plan for it. Novel idea. Uh,
yeah. It wasn't broke, and they tried to fix it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see it. It's going to be on NBC this weekend. I don't know the exact details of All In because I've had a very busy week, but I know All In AEW is also taking place this weekend. That's going to be a hot show too. You know, we got Jeff Jarrett coming back on the rise. He's having probably one of the greatest runs he's had. Gosh, back since the WCW days at this point. As the what is it? What do they call him now? The Last Outlaw, or something is the new moniker for him. But he's going up.
Right.
He may become champion. Only time will tell with that. But Rico, I want to talk is thinking about Hulk Hogan and thinking about what we did last week. And audience, if you haven't seen last week's episode, we encourage you to go back. We had on our special guest, Jillian Hefferton. She is a hormone therapist, hormone therapy specialist and an RN, and she had some invaluable information for us. So if you haven't seen that, I'm going to link the video at the end of this video so you can go back and watch that. But one of the things she talked about again is men's health. And we wanted to bring it up again because it is so important. Weight training, weight
Yeah.
bearing exercises. Rico, what are the benefits of weight training for a guy?
Oh my gosh, it can raise your testosterone levels, GH levels, release endorphins, makes you feel good. After a workout, I know back in when I was younger, I'd work out for 2 hours, and just it was just an inner feeling of accomplishment and stuff like that. And then I got into bodybuilding, so I focused on it. I just wasn't lifting weights. I had a purpose. Plus, mentally, it clears your mind. You think clearer. And it's not just weightlifting, exercise, anything. Where you get out there and put your body through, exertion or something. Because early man, what were we?
Yep.
What were we?
Our ancestors were hunter gatherers.
Hunter gatherers, and they went out and they hunted. So
Hmm.
they were physical, but they were also in shape too. And they had the body for it and stuff like that. Like we were talking about the old pictures from our parents on how well they looked,
Hmm.
to what people look like now.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, it's because of the food back
Hmm.
then. We were
Yeah.
getting whole foods. There
Yeah.
wasn't this in and out all the time or processed food, chemical foods, chemical flavorings and stuff like
Hmm.
that. When you tasted a piece of steak, it was a piece of steak.
Yeah.
Hamburger was a hamburger,
Yeah.
not this processed stuff. It was a hamburger, you
Yeah.
know. And there was food was made better quality back then.
Hmm.
Since then, I think it's bad, but as bodybuilders, you say garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
So if you put garbage in your eating and you're trying to work out with that, you're not going to get good results. You can take
No.
all the protein powders in the world, all the vitamins, supplements. If you keep putting garbage in your system, that's what your body is going to put out.
Hmm.
You have to put good food, good nutrition in your body to expect your body to respond,
Yep.
and all your effort is not in vain. So you're drinking beers and doing shots of whiskey, eating hot dogs, and then you expect to go into the gym and start lifting and getting gains. You're not going to do it.
No. But
You
the
got to
important
eat your chicken. Yeah, go ahead.
But the importance of the movement, the connection, the mind to the muscle,
Yep.
the soul to the body.
Yep.
I did an interview. Of course, everyone who watches and supports this channel will see that with Nikita Koloff, a legend for pro wrestling, a man of faith, brother in Christ. And we're talking about this earthly tent in which we live. Remember, you only get one body. All right. So, make use of that body, and it can be also it can help with a spiritual journey, lifting weights. We've discovered so much in the past few years. I myself now experiment with the cold water therapy, okay, which is gained prevalence. Also grounding. It's another interesting thing here. Things that are so simple that make sense. So Rico, I'm not sure if you're familiar with grounding. So grounding just simply means you walk outside in your backyard or on a beach or somewhere like barefoot and just allow your skin, the soles of your feet, to touch the earth because there are ions and frequencies in there that, believe it or
Yep.
not, do pass up through the soles of your feet, and they are very healing. All right. I'm not getting into any weird stuff here, by the way, just a disclaimer, but I'm just saying this is a basic trait. Now, think of the kids back in the day. They were out running around barefoot and they were strong kids. They grew up to be strong adults and they didn't have a ton of issues because their body was facing the elements. People, you talk about our ancestors walking over rocks, things like that. They had tougher, they would go in freezing cold water and it would force their system to, and I'm not advocating this, by the way, because a disclaimer, do not jump directly into cold water. This is something that you have to practice, do slowly, and get your threshold, your tolerance to a level. Do not jump into cold water or ice directly. That could be fatal, just so you know.
Well,
But
they do that with the athletes too.
yep,
The tub, they'll
yep,
throw ice in that on them.
yep.
You
But they
know,
they become accustomed. They've trained
right?
themselves. Yeah,
Yeah,
over
I know
time.
there's certain groups in the cold weather states. There's some in Wisconsin. I think they're called the polar bears or something like that. They cut a whole big hole in the ice after in
Yep,
the winter, and
yep,
they go in speedos, jump,
yep,
boing, and they
yep,
go in the cold water. They swim
yep,
around and they
yep,
get out.
yep.
But yeah, I've seen those people,
It's
and
it's a
they look healthy. They're
yeah.
like 70, 80 years old.
It's amazing. I'm not going to quote the benefits of everything because we're not health practitioners. Rico and I. Disclaimer: we're not doctors. We're just researching and testing things. But obviously, when you go in hot and cold, so the arteries and the blood vessels and all that. Remember, it constricts when it's cold and then releases when it's hot. So when you do that, like this, I guess it can help with the blood flow around the body.
Flow,
You know.
circulation, exercise the veins and arteries.
Yep.
You know what a Swedish shower is, right? Have you ever taken
Yes.
one?
No, I've never
Okay.
taken one.
Oh, let me tell you, I don't like cold water too much, but yeah, you're sitting there in a Swedish shower and you got your hands on the bars
Yeah.
because you got to hold on, and the guy puts the warm water on you,
Yeah.
and then in an instant he switches it and it's cold, and you got to grab the bars because the hot water opens your pores,
Yep.
and then you get clean, and then the cold water closes your pores,
Yep.
along with vasodilating your arteries and veins and stuff like that for the circulation. It's
Yep.
healthy for the skin.
For
You
your hair.
get
Yep.
hot. It just deep cleans you down the pores.
Yep.
And once you get clean, you want to go back out and get them dirty again. So they whack you with the cold water, and it
Yep.
closes all of it, so you're protected.
Yep.
Your skin is the protector of your whole body. You got
Yep.
weak skin, stuff can get in osmosisly and then cause illnesses.
Yep.
So
Skin
you
is
know,
actually skin. Our skin is an organ. A lot
yes,
of
a
people
lot
don't
of
know that. It's
yeah,
actually an organ. So protect your skin. But much like we're talking about shock in the body, it's the same with lifting heavy weight, especially if you're a guy. If you have we think about even posture. So even lifting weights will help with your posture. Over time, we know people who don't exercise and as they get
Getting
old,
warm,
again warm. Okay.
getting warm again.
Now, this is a result, ladies and gentlemen, of muscle mass. That's why he's taking the shirt off. I mean the jacket
Oh,
off rather.
yep.
There you go. But that's through
Oh,
years of hard work, you know. And as Rico's
yeah.
saying, and at his age, he's got a tremendous physique, good posture, and this comes from lifting weights and staying
43 years.
43 years. Had you just sat there, Rico, you would not look like the man you are today, and you'd probably be plagued by a lot of ailments.
Yeah.
So, weight training vitally important.
I
Any
did
last?
I did have good genes. Now I'm not saying I had great genes,
Mhm.
but anybody could have great genes, but if you don't take care of them through your life,
Mhm.
and you just say, "Oh, I got great genes," and you just let it go, you're gonna reap the bad benefits.
Yep.
I took care of what my mom and dad gave me,
Yeah.
for genetics.
Yeah.
I never slacked on it.
Yep. Some
Did
people do.
abuse it.
Yeah, some people do have a naturally more athletic frame, but also I want to state this because I think as a youth this bothered me too when the magazines would talk about, oh, well, it's just genetics. Fair enough, but everyone has the ability to attain the same thing. I've seen some of these bodybuilders, Rico, and yeah, naturally they did not have a wide frame. They did not have the huge shoulders. But yes, you just have to work harder, but everyone has the same potential. God created us all. So though
Right.
that potential, that base there, you may just have to, take a different route, eat more food, eat less food. You may have to do more exercises. You may have to train less. It's you just got to figure out your body. But the main thing is, especially again to our male audience, lift those weights. Your
Yeah.
your
Eh,
future
You know,
self. Yeah. Sorry.
I've always said this. Everybody's different. Everybody's a different person. Also, everybody is different. Like I used to go in the gym and see the guy with the biggest arms and stuff like that, back and stuff like that. And I'd go, I'd watch them, see what they did. Some of it worked for me, some of it didn't. I
Hmm.
had to go do something else. Now
Yep.
I have gifted muscles. My back, my pull muscles are really gifted. So
Hmm.
I have a V-shaped back. And in my chest, I have long arms, so my bis and tris are not so, but they'll get there. My quads, not so much, but that was for years of martial arts and stuff like that. I didn't want too big of quads,
Right.
because it would restrict my movement. But everybody is different. I'd have people come up to me, "What do you do?" And I wouldn't hide my secrets. I'd tell them.
Yep.
I said, "Now this is what I do. This is
Hmm.
what I eat. This is the
Hmm.
protein shakes I take. It might or might not work for you. You might have to just, customize it yourself,
Yeah.
your workout, and along with working out, I've known people that have done the same workout for 10 years and they still look the same.
Yep.
You've got to change your workout every 6 to 8 months at least
Yeah.
because your body gets used to it. Oh, he's
Yep.
going to lift this much weight 10 times, 4 sets. And the body just does that.
Yep.
But you got to shock it. You got to move it around, change your workout, push, pull.
Yep.
One pull day, one push day, leg day, you
Yep.
know, push, pull together,
Yep.
buys, tries,
Yep.
chest, back.
There,
You
there
got
is,
to keep shocking it.
there are so many things that we're uncovering now. Even me, I worked out intensely when I was younger, as I told you, Rico. I was maybe up 240. Very lean. I was on my way, but I quit working out for almost 12 years. For 12 years, I did not touch a single weight. And I just naturally went back to my, like a soccer player form. So it's only in the past, I don't know, really like 4 years, I'd say, where I really have gone back heavy with the weights. And I'm still learning things. I mean, one of the things that our partner in justice from Hey Roma and Power and Glory, our fellow Italian, Paul Roma, told me a few weeks back, and I've been on that program, light week, heavy week, light
Right.
week, because you have two sets of muscle fibers, the
Yep.
fast twitch and the slow twitch.
Slow
So if
twitch.
you're just using the fast all the time, you're not using the slow. There's so much we're going to learn. And obviously, Rico, just so you know, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, our brand new show, Masterclass, Rico will be on there with McCallion and I. And McCallion will be sharing some of his tips too, because as you know, McCallion is a merciless monster. And, he has considerable amount of muscle mass on his frame. So he's going to be divulging some of his tips for us too on there, I'm sure. Um, Rico, any closing remarks on the weight training before we go into our next topic?
Yes. Progress, not perfection. And I've said that a couple times. Don't expect you to be growing overnight. Do it slowly because, especially if you're older, listen to your body. Your muscle group needs at least 48-hour rest before you pound it again. Actually, your body needs more rest than it does the pounding,
Mhm.
so it can repair itself to grow.
Yeah.
That's when I learned you don't need to be in the gym 2 hours.
No, you
You
don't.
know, uh, I'm in the gym 60 minutes, maybe 75 minutes, and
Hmm.
I get all of it done.
Yep. Yep.
And the week I go heavy, the week I go light, but you don't need to be in there all that time, but the old bodybuilding days and stuff like that was just that way.
Well,
You had to be in the gym 2 hours.
Well, there's a lot of conjecture about that. I mean, even Lee Haney was the first one to come out there, and he is multi-time Mr. Olympia, I believe 8 times. And he would say, you strike the match, you just strike it and let it burn. You don't keep striking it over and over again an hour. I remember being at the gym and you'd see guys in there for 2 hours, and what good can you possibly get after 2 hours? I mean, unless you're jacked up on a bunch of anabolic steroids,
Well, yeah,
you're not, even Paul advocates 45 minutes to an hour, no more.
yep,
And it's true as well. I mean, because also we want a life, Rico. We don't want to be in the
yeah,
gym 2 hours, 3 hours. We got other things to do. We got money
yeah.
to make.
Well, at my age, that extra 15 minutes is me stretching.
Right.
I got to Stretching is very important
Yes.
prior to your workout. You got
Yes.
to stretch, you got to warm up.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I do 45 minutes to an hour of actual weight lifting. But
Hmm.
the stretching is important, especially as somebody at my young age, at 63, I have to stretch or I'll get injured.
Yeah.
My body isn't like I was 20. But even you 20-year-olds, get in the habit of stretching. And
Yeah.
I was good at it because I had martial arts under my belt
Mhm.
and we stretched all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I didn't get as many injuries when I started bodybuilding,
Hmm.
but I still did martial arts on top of that. So stretch, get on that back, stretch your back out. It'll help you. You won't get injured,
Yeah.
and that's what's helped me. So that's why I'm about an hour and 15 because I do religiously stretch.
Yeah, stretching is vitally important, especially the neck and the back area. Please do. I've been plagued with some back pain and things like that over the years, so definitely make sure you stretch. Rico, that was a great topic. I want to dive into our third and final topic this week. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about commentators in professional wrestling because we have the legend Jesse Ventura coming back this Saturday for Saturday night's main event. So
Yeah.
first out the gate, Rico, I want to ask you, who was your favorite combo, your commentators
Now, my favorite commentators were the ones that I liked when I was in wrestling.
of all time, out even
Of all
before
time.
of all
Oh
time?
my gosh. Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse the Body were great. Heenan, fantastic. And Monsoon. Jerry, the King Lawler, and Jim Ross were just fantastic together.
Yeah,
They played off each other very well. And like I said, Monsoon and Ventura. I'll tell you something, Monsoon. And he was the actually colorful,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
colorful.
yeah,
And Heenan was just Heenan, because he always played. Monsoon always got the best of him in the end, and he'd always have to come up with an excuse.
yeah.
That's how he got the name Weasel. you
Yep.
know.
Yep. Yep. Great,
So
great team.
yeah. Unfortunately, I only watched the WWF at the time, so I know in the lower leagues, the independents, Crockett, and stuff like
Mm.
that. I know there were some fantastic announcers, but I never got to watch them. So the reason why I don't mention them is I don't know of them. I was always a WWF a viewer, so
Yeah.
I watched all of those, and I'm sure there other organizations had great announcers, but for me, all times those
Yeah.
are mine.
I think, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Mentioned Jesse Ventura. There's a reason why they're bringing him back, fans. Uh, one of one of the most articulate. Jesse really enunciates very well. You understand what he's saying. He does not have an accent. He just obviously has an American accent because he's an American, but he doesn't have any Southern accent or anything like that. Because I'm going to segue into something here. Again, Gorilla Monsoon. How many kids out there learned what we big words because Gorilla Monsoon would
Yeah,
use them. And then the kids,
yeah,
we'd have to look it up to figure out what he just said. And then we'd learn all these words, when we were
yeah.
growing
But we
up.
had to look it up.
Yeah.
That's your key word. We couldn't go to Google back then and go,
Yeah.
Google, what's this mean?
Yeah. He would tell us all about the patella and the knee and everything else. And he would
Yeah.
he would he would come out. And again, Bobby Heenan as well, very articulate. I think the best commentators are the ones that are articulate, that have that kind of radio voice. I mean, Jesse Ventura definitely has a radio voice. I mean, he's like another one who I could have listened to for hours was Mean Gene Okerlund. He had
Oh yeah,
such
yeah. Yeah.
fantastic
Oh, as an
broadcast.
interviewer, Mean Gene. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
as a ring announcer, Finkel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Think. Yeah.
Yeah, now when you went into interviewers, yeah, Mean Gene was the best.
Yeah.
And for ring announcing, Howard Finkel. But you
Yeah.
said commentators, so
Yeah.
I kept it just to that.
Yeah.
But no, those other two were definitely just icons.
Yeah, icons, definitely. That team, Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon played so well off each other. And there was no lull because then when Jesse left, Bobby stepped in and
Yep.
Bobby was just a natural. I'll tell you who else did a good job looking back, thinking about it, was Roddy Piper. When they took him out of wrestling for a while, I think he replaced Jesse Ventura at SummerSlam 90. So he was playing with Vince. He was commentating with Vince that night. Even he did a great job. I mean, he really did. From wrestler to commentator, did a great job. But coming back to the teams, though, for me personally, I think it was Jesse and Gorilla. Although I did appreciate Vince. I do want to say I did appreciate Vince McMahon's commentary.
Yeah, because he played the straight man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and he was good at the straight man, you
Yeah.
know, and he always sounded like Walter Cronkite. He was
Yeah.
always delivering it like it was the news,
Yeah.
you
Yeah. He
know. So
did.
Vince did that way with the gold jacket he
Yeah.
used to wear all the time, you know. And so yeah, and then Jesse would just go off on him on that,
Yeah.
you know.
He was great. I was hoping with Saturday night's main event. And also, by the way, fans, viewers, write in, tell us who's your favorite commentator. We'd
Yeah,
like to know. I thought they'd have him do the whole show, but they're just having him do the main event. That's all. They're not having him do the whole show. Strange. I mean, I thought they would, but for some reason,
maybe it's the deal they struck. I don't know,
yeah, it
but
could.
Hogan. Ventura in the same building.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
yeah. Only time will tell. Texas,
oh,
Texas is gonna be the roof on that place is gonna blow off, as Gorilla Monsoon and them would say back in the day. This weekend, one of the guys I do like. I want to before we leave on this week. One of the guys I do like. Which I find, and now he was commentating for Billy Corgan's NWA. Again, a great promotion. Billy's doing a great job. We will do some episodes on the NWA in the coming weeks. When he rebooted the NWA with their show Power, I'm not sure if you've ever watched it, Rico. Okay, I will send you some links. NWA Power was shot in the original NWA WCW studio, televised studio in Atlanta, Georgia. So they recreated the set, and it was beautiful, man. They had great talent. L.A. Knight was there. Who else was? Aaron Stevens was there. Multiple talents. They started about 4 or 5 years ago. Wade Barrett was there. He's the current color
Oh,
commentator guy with Michael Cole on Monday Night Raw. He was good then. He's excellent. I really think he's going to be a modern day, he's got the markings. He could be like a modern day Jesse Ventura. He really tells a story. He's got a compelling voice to listen to him. He doesn't allow any moments of silence or drag. Of course, he mentioned Power and Glory a couple of weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. So thank you, Wade, for that. But yeah, he's got a great voice. Have you had a chance to listen to his work, Rico?
not yet. I
Okay.
know I think I heard him. He does AEW now, right?
No, he's in WWE. He's doing Monday Night Raw
Oh,
now.
okay. Okay, I know he was on the first Raw, right?
Yes, he was one of the first. Yeah,
Okay, then I've heard him. Yeah,
yeah,
I heard him.
British guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the British accent. So yeah, I think he's going to be somebody to
What? A
what?
British guy with a British accent?
Yeah, yes.
That's unheard of.
I caught that, Rico. Thank you for bringing that out. Yes. But nonetheless, he's a great talent and I appreciate his work and I think he's gonna be stellar. One thing I did also want to bring up, Rico, was the comment that CM Punk made on Monday Night Raw. We brought Hogan up.
Oh,
I want to leave it with this. CM Punk alluded to the fact that Hogan might be in the Royal Rumble. Rico?
yeah.
Do you think that's even a possibility at this point?
Well, I don't know what this, like I said, Netflix owns a lot of it now and stuff like that. Uh, all depends what's going to happen this week.
Oh,
Like I said, Hogan's got to be prepared for either or. But I did say in West Texas, he
yeah.
promoted his beer, right?
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, the lines were just around the corner, and everybody in Texas wanted to see him. So I'm kind of like, are they going to boo him in the ring? Because they were all out to see him for
Hmm.
hours
Hmm.
for his beer.
This could be kind of like a Bret Hart Foundation situation where remember when he was booed in the US and cheered in Canada? Could be
Yep.
like that, where he's booed in California but cheered and revered in places like, of course, Florida. He's going to get that crowd, or
Well,
New
yeah,
York, maybe something like that. It's going to be interesting to see. They could definitely spin this and
yeah.
really, really capitalize on this big
I
time.
think they could, and then it's going to be spontaneous.
Mhm.
Like I said, that they're probably checking right now, testing the waters. Like I said, the comments I saw on few posts here and there because I did research it, and they were mostly negative
Yeah.
on him and calling the people like him dinosaurs. But
No.
look what Undertaker came out
Yeah.
and the rip him off.
Yeah. Just again, just remember to be nice, audience. Whoever's watching this, these men have gone before us and they have sacrificed their bodies, their time, their passion, their relationships, their spare time. They love this business.
Yeah,
And we are taught in our faith, Rico, respect your elders. Just remember the time is ticking, as I often say, Rico, in delirium. Time is ticking. We're all marching towards the same place, and we
yep.
are all none of us are immune to that thing called age. So remember that. Have respect for those who have come before us. Um, these are men who put the smiles on kids' faces for decades. They inspired people. Again, maybe some of their personal characteristics are not great, but the character they portrayed had some good values, some good morals in there. So just remember that when you're considering your support or lack of support for a certain individual or not. Rico, there's one other thing I did want to bring up because a fan was very adamant to me on the podcast, and they said, "When is Rico going to return to SmackDown?" They want you back on SmackDown, Rico. So I wanted to bring it up here so you can maybe articulate how it works.
Well, I'm a little older now. I would love to come back in a Rumble.
The
I'd
Rumble.
like to do next January's Rumble.
There you go.
I think I'll be ready.
There you go, fans. So you heard it right here. Rico wants to do one more Royal Rumble. So you know what you have to do? Aside from laying the smackdown on that subscribe button to help us jack the algorithm up so we can be there on your search engines, you have to share these videos, but you also have to comment. I want to see Rico in the Royal Rumble over and over and over again. Use our Facebook page too for that. And maybe we'll get enough names down there who want to see it that we can submit that directly to WWE Talent Relations headquarters. There you go. There's the challenge.
There it is.
You guys have got a year to do it. And also you've got 12 months left to get us at 3 million subscribers. So got to get to work. All right.
Yep.
One final thing I want to say, Rico, again to the audience. If anybody's interested in having Rico come to a pro wrestling event, if you'd be interested in booking Rico, use the email address in the description of the video. Also, likewise, myself, Slade, and McCallion, if you're interested in Delirium, again, use the same email address and contact us, and we'll begin negotiations for you. But Rico, I think that was a wonderful conversation with you again today.
Yep, we have them.
Yep. Any closing remarks?
Yes, my closing remark to everybody out there. What your mind can conceive, your heart can achieve.
Amen. Amen. And also, Rico, I was reminded yesterday how important it is for us to continue to say, I want to give all glory to our Father in heaven in the name of his
Yep,
Son, Jesus Christ. Throughout, none of this would be possible. And all of this is only temporary. So I want to
yep.
give glory to God for that. Rico, I'll let you say goodbye to the audience for us. I'll let you lead us out this week.
Well, thank you for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed our episode. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like, and share it with your friends. And join us next week because we have.
Our special guest, AEW and ROH superstar, Pretty Peter Avalon. So make sure you
That's
join
right.
us next week for that.
Boy, it's going to be a good one next week. We're going to get some information next week.
Yep, we're going to get some information. We're going to go into some other topics. And of course, the topic I mentioned there, I'm going to bring it up theme music for wrestling events and wrestling shows because this is something I need to get off my chest. This is something I need to talk about here. And we'll go into all that next week. But until then, everybody, God bless you. Rico, God bless you, my
God
brother.
bless you.
And we will see you next week.
On styling.